Hi, it's Brad Monk here. How are you doing today? What is the main problems that you have today that you would like to share in the comment section, or you would like answers from that I can channel from Spirit? The topic that came forward today that I've had a few questions on is speaking to Spirit. Have you got problems speaking to Spirit? Now, for 30 plus years I've been a medium, and there has been many times where I've been thinking, oh God, is that my own mind? Is that spirit world? And I think through experience and practice, and there's even times now when I give messages and I think to myself, what's that from spirit, But you get to know the way they communicate when it comes out of nowhere and it's speaking to you and you hear them, and then you start to realize and you just give what you get. You start to realize. But let's go into a bit more in depth, okay? Very important. You've got to prepare your vessel. Your mind is always going to kick in unless it's able to switch off. That's why I created my mind, body, and soul alignment meditation. It cuts the emotional ties. It clears out your connection. It gets you into what we call the universe connection, where you're a part of everything. And so by doing this, it makes it a lot clearer. There's like little tips that you can use. You can create a nature box, which is a marvelous, because being in nature is your automatic connection. Okay, so how do you go about speaking to spirit? Well, there's many different ways. There's many different ways of the communication. But if you want to do mediumship and you believe that mediumship is you being the middle person and hearing spirit, then you have to practice more, opening up your hearing. Now, one little trick that I got in my pack is to imagine yourself in a cave and you are sending a voice out to the cave and then hearing it come back. What that is just preparing your hearing to actually receive messages. And so ringing in your ears, your name being called, these are all the ways that spirit will prepare you to hear spirit. So actually talking to spirit, the only problem is you. That's why you must meditate, or you must get yourself in the zone, or you must get yourself connected. I'm not saying that you can't listen to spirit, but you've got more chance when your body's full of emotions and full of negativity for your brain to kick in, because it's worried about the body and everything. So it's so important that you prepare your vessel and just do it, practice it. You could do so many different ways. You can use objects. You can go into your drawer where you got full of all your rubbish in there and just be drawn to an item. And then what's the message for me? So you can get messages in so many different ways. And I think that opens up all your senses and makes it a lot easier for them to communicate. So really, talking to spirit is more about yourself and your connection and getting yourself right, And the more you try, the more you want it, the less likely you are to actually speak to spirit. This is the key to it all. It's a case of when it happens, it don't, you find that you get more. And sometimes it's to do with the timings. They also have like a trigger in you to let you know that they want to communicate with you. Mine is 80 songs. That's the way I know that they're trying to pass a message on to me, and then I open up and listen to them. But there's signs all around that they want to communicate. There's certain musics, there's all sorts. It's like a whole world out there of sort of messages. And it's basically up to yourself. Because if you're so much into your work or you're overthinking or this, that and the other, you're not in the sort of open-minded state to be able to receive messages. So often the case that people can't talk to spirit because they've not prepared themselves, they've not got themselves, you've not even asked spirit to come forward. I find that fascinating. And people say to me, well, you should, they're not on demand and everything. No, but, that's what I said to you. If you get a sign, like I get music or a feeling on the body, which says that, they want to communicate with me, and once you learn all this, that's why I created my packs, so that you can open the vessel. I mean, there's even a better way through the source, which you've seen some of my videos, where you actually, if you connect through the source way or through your heart, that's a better connection altogether. And you're connecting to everything rather than just the voice of the spirit. You're connected to wisdom. That's why I love channeling, because they give me insights and thoughts to help me on my journey. And then I try and pass it on to you and try and see the connections and where it came from and how it works out and what they're trying to say. And then I try and share it. I wish I could give it in pure form sometimes, because it just, I don't know, maybe it just, when I get it in like a pure download, I just feel so alive and so connected, and it just feels amazing to get this message. And then I'm all excited that I've got a message, and can go and find out more information about it, and I'm ignited, and so, you know, your passion and love for doing this. And I think that's why, really, taking away the ego, taking away the brain, and you can actually make the brain become more connective when you take it away from the mind and the body and the spirit. Well, like the body especially is always sending messages to your brain, and so when it doesn't know something, the brain kicks in. But when you get into the state of oneness and the connection, and through meditation and one thing or another, then your brain switches off, because it's no longer as needed to worry about the body. And so through practice, then you can get a better connection, and you can hear them and get messages from them, and get excited. Try different messages, different ways, you know, get the runes out, or the tarot cards, or the angel cards, or whatever you feel drawn to. All it is getting that connection. You know, when you enjoy life, you automatically are getting messages. That's why I always take a diary or information around, because then all I'm trying to do is that whenever something comes out of nowhere, I make a note of it, and then confirmation comes of why I got that message. And so I'm being a medium without even giving the message. I mean, when I'm talking to my friends and when I'm talking to people online, I'm channeling information for them. And that's why I don't do reading so much, because I prefer the spiritual guidance that really helps people on their journey. And is why I just do the way through quotes, through just sharing information and just linking with others that way. So that's my way. So if you have a problem talking to spirit, then, you know, how many times a week do you actually practice? And you can practice without even, I mean, one of my packs is speed reading. I don't know if you've ever tried that. I mean, so many people are also looking at the person that they're giving the information for. But really, you could do speed reading on your own. You could get a photo of one of your friends and family. There's loads of pictures on Facebook, and just do a reading for them. You don't need to share it with them. You know, you have to ask the soul if it's okay also. But what it does is, the more you do it, the more easier, or the more you learn how to do it, sort of thing. You know, speed reading is brilliant. Just whatever comes through. Because at the start, it's your brain. But then after a little while, the brain switches off, and then pure spirit comes through with the information. So you just give what you get. And at the start, it'll be like, oh, your brain and all this lot, and oh, no, you can't do it, and da-da-da. But then eventually, it switches off. It's like walking in nature after 20 minutes. Suddenly, your brain just switches off. And then you can merge with nature. And then you be part of it. And then you no longer have all these fears and doubts and worries about doing it. So mediumship is, for me, is very easy. I'm naturally. So I suppose it's always been part of the family. So, but you still have to practice, you know, you still have to do. And I think that's what most people miss out on. And there's many different ways to practice, you know, and there's many different tools to use. And it's just a matter of just spending a bit of time and practicing. That's why I produce my packs. You can do my packs. Every time you do my pack, what you do is you evolve. And you get new information all the time. And that's why. And it's done in a format to switch off part of the brain, because you go through the breathing in, the breathing out, the putting emotions in the box. You're going through the same drill, because then the mind is used to that and will switch off. Get yourself into routines. When you're doing readings, you know, talking to people, tell them how you're going to do it. And then then they know what's going to happen. Because often when I toured the country, people haven't got a clue about readings. They're only going off what hearsay is or what someone has told them, and sharing of information is not always the best when it comes to people. So if you just meditate, if you have a problem with the connection, just meditate until you feel right with the connection. It's not a race. The energy you put to it will stop the flow of energy. That's what you got to understand. Using tools is just getting the energy of the person so that you can link it to the spirit world, or you can link it to their DNA, or you can link it to their timeline, or use psychometry, go up and down the timeline, which is quite fascinating. You can start to see other people's pictures and images of their life. It is fascinating stuff, and it's wonderful stuff. And getting messages and being guided and really helps you through those times where you've absorbed too much negativity. So regular cleansing, regular meditation. And I used to always meditate before, because it just made me feel right before I did the connection to spirit world. Okay, so if you have any questions, or there's a certain area of mediumship or your spiritual journey or anything really, because I have a vast array of information that I've experienced. I'm 51, coming up to 51 now, and I've had quite a eventful life, and I've done high-powered jobs, to working in pubs, to working in care, I've done so many different things, and I've learned. I've always been one that's always evolving, always learning, and my 10-year stretch was really it's eye-opening, because I was taken to places and situations which I didn't think was very spiritual, but the information that came from doing that really showed the connection, the energy, and how it all works. So this is Brad Monk, always here for you. If you've got a question, please send me the message and I'll try and help, because I think at the moment we all need a little bit of help.